So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this session on talent development and education. Uh, I think VAM Summit this year is centered around the disruption that AI is bringing into the industry. I believe it's one of the most defining shifts. So people who are at the heart of the industry, the expectation from them is changing faster than ever, right? So this then creates a moment for all of us to come together and rethink how are we going to nurture, train, and sustain the talent for the future of the industry. So here in this session, what I'm looking from our panelists is to answer some of these questions. First is how is the talent going to remain relevant and adaptable, the change that is coming. We also want to know some of the practical actions that the professionals can take. I know skills are changing, so what are the skills that are going to be relevant in the next 5 to 6 years? How do academies collaborate with each other and with the industry? These are some of the questions I'm curious to know from the panelists today. At the end of the session, we will open the floor for some questions from the audience. So please hold your patience till the end, and we'll dive into the discussion right away. So what we are looking for is not how are the talent going to survive the disruption, but really how to take this opportunity to redefine what VFX is going to look in the future. So I'll start my question with the studio representation here, Shaswati and Kartiki. Kartiki, with your experience of, you have brought the build talent in multinational companies, and also through the production resource lens, and from you, Shaswati, the learning and development internally that you are taking care of for your team members, what are some of the skill sets that you find most difficult to find? And let us start from there.
The thing is that today's world, it is just not the technology, it is just not the technology, it is rather the basic has to be pretty strong when the newcomers are coming over there in our place. And of course, the technology detail is required and they have to understand that. But if their base is strong, rest can be taught on the way, okay, on the go when they're working. So that is what we believe. And the base has to be super strong. They have to understand what is behind it. So that is where we look for.
So you mean the fundamentals have
fundamentals has to be super strong.
Has to be strong.
Exactly.
And we all talk about production-ready talent.
Absolutely.
So how does the production-ready talent get defined in your company internally?
See, in our company, we take interns actually. We have built a program where we take interns who comes with a fresh mind, with their showreel to enter, and then we have around robust training system for around 2 to 3 months where they are not on the production, but we teach them, okay, during that time. But can we teach the softwares during that time? No, they come with that knowledge, but we teach them our way of working and what is in the industry we are looking for in our organization, what we are looking for. And we, while selecting, we try to see that the adaptability and those areas, because industry is evolving rapidly. So it is not that you are onboarded and your learning is over. It is never that anymore. So it is like you have to come in, industry will change, you have to evolve accordingly, you keep learning so that you enhance your talent, your skill gap is taken care of. So all these are very important. So that is what we look for.
I think there is this most desirable candidate that we look for has a balance of creative thinking, technical adaptability, collaboration, and problem solving.
Very true. Very true.
And that's, I think, internally, I being from the same boat as you are in. So that's always a challenge and the thing that we keep working on. Thank you. How about you, Kartiki?
So to answer to your first questions about the industry, what skills are difficult to find? I think technical skills are not very difficult to find in the market. That's something can be taught to people. But definitely creative skills are very difficult to find. That's the answer to your first question. And when we are talking about the industry-ready people, uh, in my experience, Framestore is a global company and we work on very complex and high-end VFX projects. While we are working on them, we have a fair ratio of mid, senior, and junior. And industry-ready people are made when they are moving from junior to mid to senior. They're getting industry-ready. But especially, I'm speaking from a Framestore point of view since it's a global studio, we have a very solid pipeline and a very strong workflow, which actually makes it very easy for us to hire juniors and fit them into our system. So once the juniors are added, we can groom them. There are launchpad made run for those juniors. And for the filtering for those juniors, we usually go for the creative ability of those people. There are tests conducted to understand the creative ability of those people and software proficiency. But after that, once they're onboarded in the studio, in the Launchpad program, then what we focus on is their problem solving, how their approach is, how they solve the problems, what is the consistency, and what is the curiosity or passion towards research and development. That helps them to grow further from junior to mid to senior. That's how we get the people industry ready.
Okay, it's a great insight. Now moving on to the education system and curriculum, I would like Sumant and Sathish to throw some light on how we all know education system always works towards keeping pace with the changing technology. So, and that could be quite challenging. So what is it that the institutes are getting right today? And where do you think the gaps are? And how frequently do you really think the curriculum should be changed to keep up with, now that AI has been introduced, it's accelerating the disruption even further. What's your take on that?
Well, as you heard Shaswati say, one of the main things that are useful for a good professional career is that your foundations have to be strong. Fortunately, the foundation does not change depending on the technology. New technologies come, they keep changing. So one of the things that we do at IDC is actually we don't even teach software. We teach what you would expect from a software, and the students are expected to learn, and then we guide them depending on what is the software's choice. So whether it's Blender or Maya or Houdini or anything else, the fundamentals are the same. How the user interface changes, how specifically one software versus another software, what are the strengths, weaknesses. Based on that, they figure out their workflow, which basically means that we build in an adaptability in the students. So if it's 2D animation today, it's claymation tomorrow, it's 3D day after, it's compositing the day after that, and it's AI next. They should be able to adapt. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I totally agree with what all three of them said, because from the studio also what they are saying is the foundation is very important. So I divide this into three different parts. One is the foundation part, then the technical advantages and tools, then the advanced technology which is growing actually. I give myself as an example. It's been almost 3 decades in this particular industry. I did my fine arts. I passed out in 1994. Way back there is no computer, nothing. So what all 5 years what we learned is the traditional art, sculpture, ceramic, all these kinds of subjects. After that I have never learned any software. Only one software which I have enrolled back then is Softimage, which is no more now. And I learned it for only 2 weeks. But today, in this span of almost 3 years, I've delivered project across visual effects, animation, gaming, all the spectrum actually. So what is happening with the latest advanced technological growth, thanks to all these institutions which has been running for almost 2-3 decades, like Aptech, Frameboxx, Mac and all those things. Without the institutions like them, so this industry wouldn't have grown to this level actually. So today what is happening is people wants to, if they want to really learn something bigger, something larger, so they are going abroad. Just, I'll ask you simple question. So do you know how many people from India go to abroad to study higher in animation, visual effects and gaming alone? I'm not talking about design. Any numbers in every year on an average?
I would guess maybe thousands. No.
So 20,000 students, if you can just Google it or see, 20,000 students are going from India to abroad to learn advanced level of animation, visual effects and gaming. So why they're going there? It's not because that it's not been taught here. So there, the kind of equipment, infrastructure, facilities which is given by the institutions and universities, then the industry level curriculum. So at IICT, this is what one particular thing, if you come to the campus actually, so already INB Ministry, Government of India has invested 100 crores to build the state-of-the-art facilities, infrastructure. The courses are designed in such a manner, like they mentioned, core focus on foundation and fundamentals. That's the core skills which they have to learn. Then using these advanced technology and tools, they'll put that industry practices where we provide them the high-end equipment. For example, one mission cost almost 8.5 lakhs rupees. We have the Alienware missions. We have virtual production stages like that. So slowly this need of the hour has been understood by many institutions. They are also investing. So I think over a period of time, this culture is going to grow. Nobody has to go to abroad. If somebody wants to do a study in Vancouver or maybe Canada or US or Australia, so they have to spend at least minimum of 18 to 20 lakhs. So where a place like IICT is going to grow more. So this is the first of its kind IIT built for AVGC industry, where it's 1/5 of the cost course fee which they can pay, and they get much bigger and larger because it's all completely industry driven courses. And we need people like these kind of, because India almost like every year, next 3 years we are estimating 1.5 lakhs manpower required for this AVGC industry. It is true. The kind of growth it is having in OTT or a lot of other sector, medical animation, engineering, AR, VR, all these things, we need more and more people actually. So I think this ecosystem, by having basic education foundation, has to be very, very strong so that we'll be able to compete at an international level content as well, and we'll be able to produce our own content in India which can go into the global market. That should be the case. Thank you.
Thank you, Sathish. Are there any students in the audience? Not that I can see very clearly, but graduating from the schools, I went. Okay. And professionals as well. I think we talk about foundational knowledge, and sometimes we just think it's only important for the students. But I've spent time in good companies where senior artists are spending equal amount of time honing their fundamentals, spending time drawing and observing the environment around them. So there is the fundamentals are not going anywhere. So thank you very much. So I know IDC and IICT, you cater to and you groom a very niche students and talents who are content creators, who are more creative visionaries. But the demand in the industry, when you look at the specialization that is out there, the demand for talent is exponentially higher than what kind IDC and IICT may be catering to, and that's where I think Rajesh, Turakhia ji and Srinivas have paved the way for the industry when it comes to the scale at which education is delivered. And the industry would have, I think the numbers run in lakhs, I believe, for both of you, of how many students and talents you have put out there in the industry. So my question to you is, as at a training and institutional level, scaling quality education across such a fast-paced, changing industry, how do you go about it? I know that I was in the advisory meeting for Arena, and they are taking some extremely drastic steps in terms of, and very impressive steps in terms of what they are going to plan and line up for the improvement and the betterment of what they're already doing. And for Frameboxx, I understand you have industry tie-ups, which are trying to bring in more industry experience for your students. Would you talk a bit more about that?
Yeah, basically, in the year 2000, when we started, I started Mac, the industry needed people very, very urgently. There were lots of projects coming in from the international markets, and we didn't have enough animators. So that time we had to put out students within six months. So we used to give them a whole gambit of softwares, and they used to be just generalists who could do everything and anything, and they used to go out in the market and be a warm body that would be there in the studio. As time progressed and we could have enough time to put people into the market, we became 1-year courses, then it became 2-year courses. Eventually, when I started Frameboxx, I started a degree program. I was one of the first institutes to start a degree program. So we keep on evolving with the needs of the industry. And at that time, like in 2005, 2006, so that the students could know what production really is. That time we introduced 24 FPS with the, project going on. And now in Frameboxx, we got the Frameflix, which is in tie-up with Zebu Animation. So now Zebu Animation professionals are actually mentoring from script to screen about 13 teams that are going to make films and make IP-related films. And they are also trying to market that IP. So now the institute is actually giving them an experience in real-time production, how you work, what is your naming conventions, how you save your files, how you transfer your files, all those things, and a pressure of time. It is a time-bound production, so they have to finish within that time, just like they would have to if they had taken a project. So what we do is we talk to industry. Every 6 months we have meetings with the industry professionals. We evolve our coursewares accordingly. We have meetings with software people, like I have a meeting just now with 2 software people who will be telling us the roadmap for new softwares that are coming out. So we prepare for that also in advance. So overall, what we try to do is we try to be as close as possible to the industry needs. The creative part of it is something that the student comes with himself. We can just hone it a little bit. What I create is techno artists. I don't create an artist or I don't create a technician. I create a techno artist who can basically manipulate software to the needs that are required by the studio. And the studio will then, kind of get the work out of him. And these projects that we are doing, the films and all that we are doing, will definitely make them, ready for, they will know what they specialize in and what they can do. And that's what they will show in their showreel to the studios. So they'll be hired for those roles. So now it's become role specific. Earlier it was just a generalist.
Well, good afternoon to all of you. Thank you for being a sportive and supportive audience just after lunch to come and sit for an education-based discussion. I think you all require a round of applause. Talking about, I think the probably, I don't say disadvantage, I don't have anything much to speak about. All of them have spoken because I'm the last to speak. But what I can add is that my personal journey, what I have learned 30 years back in 96, 97, before animation term or AVGC term had been born, started off with something called multimedia. Later on, which converted into animation and then VFX and then gaming over the years. So without any clue in mind, I started my first institution way back in 96, 97. And as fresh out of college. And I think the journey of this 30 years has been very satisfying from a time when there was no market at that time. So, and there was no need also. So now there's a market and the people have need to do this course. But we had to create a market and create a need. First we had to create a market and then create a need for the children or for the students to do these kind of courses. So over this journey, what I've learned is that, as Sumantji rightly told, the foundation, technology has always been and will always remain an enabler. It can never replace the foundation or the human talent that is available in the industry today. And from those days to today, we have seen the industries evolve, we have seen the students evolve. From the time when parents didn't want the children to become a cartoon artist or a person who works in animation or movies, to a time when today's parents themselves come saying that they want their son or daughter to become a game artist or an animation artist or a graphic designer or whatever it is related to it. It's been a long journey. And I think Arena Animation, as one of the brand, has catered a lot to this growth over the years, catering to lakhs of students passing out and being at the helm of many studios across the world. And I think technology will keep evolving. I think we were resistant when calculator came. We were resistant when computers came. Today we are talking about AI. AI anyway can never replace EI. So the emotional intelligence or the human intelligence is very important. So I think as technologies evolve, it is not only about skilling, but it is reskilling and upskilling. It's not only for the students, but also for the people who work. Professionals in studios has to keep constantly reinventing or re-skilling themselves. As Arena, also as the college that I run back in Bangalore also, we are trying a lot of initiatives in trying to keep the students crowd as well as the professionals crowd on par with the requirement of the industry. The recently formed Board of Academic Advisory Group, like for years, it's been 30 years since the academia and the industry have been, I would not say a dialogue will be a softer term to say, has been literally fighting over saying that the industry doesn't get the required people from students from the institutions as job ready, and the institutions saying that the industry doesn't support much. So I think it's a partnership that both have to build together, and with the Board of Academy Advisory that we have built is a initiative to see that including you, I think 7 industry people have been inducted onto the board, and along with 4 or 5 senior business partners is the board which decides on how academia and industry can work together in creating high value AVGC XR force for our country. So I think there are a lot of initiatives, even from the government, the state that I come from, Karnataka state government. Karnataka state government has been very, very supportive in this. And since the first policy in 2012 to the last policy running right now, we have given a lot of scope and a lot of importance to skilling and education in the AVGC sector specifically. So I think that's my 2 words on that. Thank you.
Thank you. This brings me to the area where the academias and the studios they can collaborate. So I would like to hear from Shaswati and also Sumant. I know you have some very passionate thought on how the collaboration should happen, and there are areas which are untapped in the industry. I would love for you to also talk about it, but Shaswati first. Thank you.
Yes, regarding the collaboration, it's highly important. Definitely, we should do it together. And we, in our organization, we already we have an outreach program where it's called Spread the Magic of VFX, and we reach across India to the grassroots level, and quite a few colleges are with us. And basically, we work along with them, and also we get students from them for our, apt student for our Build a Bot program. So that's what we do. And yeah, we have to spread it much more. Okay, and as I was saying, we have a very robust system of learning through and through. So it is a collaboration which is going to help us finally. And we believe in higher education system norms. So all our learning management system, all the credit-based modules we are having, we are more academically as well as industry oriented. So it's like that, and everything goes towards a particular, vision. Like everything, like every department have their proficiency, scalable system, and which is absolutely clear for the learners. Like what I can learn, and then what I can implement, so that I am getting to the next level. So it's like that. So it will be a hand-in-hand work with the academia. It will be really nice, no doubt.
Okay. Great, thank you. Sumant, would you like to please elaborate on your thoughts on the collaboration?
Yeah. I don't think I will elaborate because I'll go into teacher mode.
Okay. So maybe in brief.
There's a big vision that I have been dreaming of for a long time, and so also IDC and IIT. So one of the visions is a sort of center of excellence. Now the center of excellence that I'm talking about is not necessarily like IDC based or something like that. The way we are looking at it is, it's not just industry and academia collaboration like 1:1. I think the entire industry, different people from the finance to the actual studios to the tech companies, the technology companies, and the academia, and academia also where we deal with a certain sort of students. We've got a very small student base, and Arena and Frameboxx and Mac and various other this thing, they look at creating the whole manpower for an industry. I think being able to network all of these so that we can work together and each one brings something to the table is very important. And one of the things that I see is, if we have a sort of a vision that covers the entire spectrum, one of the spectrums that we have not touched upon over here is research. You know, like IIT is basically research oriented. Now that research is disconnected with the industry. So researchers do publish papers and that's the end of it. Okay, there is a very little bridge between the research and the industry. So my hope is that the research gets converted into applied research, the applied research gets converted into the actual technology that the industry can use. Then industry has a concept called technical directors who understand the technology on one side and they can apply it to this thing. And then from there, the designers like IDC and various other institutes, okay, they come in and they can use the technology for creating content. And then you have how do you create an entire set of new jobs based on the new technology. So job training. Okay, so this is not going to happen just in IDC or just in Arena or just in Mac or just in Framestore or just, it's all of us coming together and creating a system that can work. Okay, and from the research side, I think IIT has a great role to play, and each of us over here and all the others out there have a great role to play in this ecosystem of collaboration.
Yeah, very well said. I think it's a shared responsibility of each one of the elements.
I'm really hoping that we can leapfrog, you know, India into the next state of creating the best animation, live action films, VFX films in the world.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone, Sathish, would you like to add to this?
Yeah, so of course, India has been lacking when it comes to the research, especially in this animation, visual effects, gaming industry. Because today, if you see ILM, when they created Star Wars almost 30-40 years ago, the kind of research which they had, whether it may be animatronics or maybe the computer animation, that research has given them this 40 years of a legacy kind. So that one we need to definitely improve upon there. So that's one of the main reason institutes like IICT has to grow, because this requires huge amount of funding. So when you run a private institution, it's a big challenge in terms of bringing the investment part of it, funding part of it. Another thing, what is the difference between abroad universities and Indian universities? So they focus on teaching one particular skill for so many years. So there is a basic theory is there. If you want to master any skills, minimum of around 1,500 to 2,000 hours, you will have to practice only that particular skill. If you want to become a character animator, you need to really practice only character animation to that many hours. Only then you will skill. So that's what has been happening in India. So all these universities, institutes, they learn all the skills, but they don't have time to practice one particular skills for so many hours, because one is the commercial angles into it, who will invest on that. So that's how when we started this IICT, we had a thought process, we need to be completely different from all these institutions. Basically, those who are completing there, they come there. We have programs, 2 years only character animation. So we teach only character animation. 2 years only in the gaming segment, environment art design. So they don't even learn character modeling. They learn only the environment. Like that kind of a programs has been designed there. So more and more institute comes that has more in terms of research habit also inculcated in the subjects. Apart from that, there is a progressive knowledge has been given to them, and then there is people who guide them. So all the faculty members are industry faculty members, so they know how industry standards are. So my animation HOD has almost 16 years of an experience working for DreamWorks and big shows actually. So these infrastructure and kind of faculties only government institutions can afford to put in actually. So yeah, so there are some private institutions they are trying to put, but it needs continuous funding, continuous fuel. So make use of these kind of an institute. We need large amount of people to come to this industry and master the skills, and together we have to create all these content. Research will definitely happen. IDC Mumbai is doing. We have a separate research wing, so we've been incubating a lot of startups also. We've been talking to IIT Madras, IDC, and big institutions in this AVGC segment. Whatever research needs to be done, whether it may be plug-in, whether it may be software to be invented, all this, there is a team working there. So I am sure that more and more institution comes, we will definitely do much better actually. Yeah, thanks.
Great to know.
We at our kind of institutes also do bring in people from the industry. That's the only way we can stay relevant. And I have today the head of academics who's got 25 years experience, who's worked with DNEG, Framestore, Prana, Maya, all the studios possible. So yes, we also know that we need to do that, and everybody has to do that now. Industry-specific training has to come in. The industry is matured to that level. The first time from lamination and ammunition, we are called animation. So it's a big step, and Prime Minister has spoken about it from the Red Fort, and the Finance Minister has spoken about this industry in the budget. They want to say something like create in India. So it's a very, very exciting time. They want to have some 20 lakh people by 2030, and there are only about 2 lakh people that are there in the market. I don't know how, because both of us have trained more than that. So they must be doing something else. But anyways, overall, there is a fantastic future, and the future for the people who are trained well in the industry practices and on the creative side also. So we need some of the creative sides coming from, IIT and IDCs and NIDs and of the world. And then we give them the technical, knowledge also, so that they can be useful to the industry. You forgot to say that the government has given 634 crores for this research and COE that is coming up very, very shortly in Film City. So that is something that is also going to be very, very big for the research part of it.
Okay, thank you. Before I open the question answer for the floor, anybody else would? Yes.
Just joking.
Yeah.
I just want to quickly add in less than 30 seconds 4 points. One is the skilling part, again, coming back or moving away from the arena or the college story, I wanted to just tell about the skilling that we are doing it for the fine art colleges across the state in Karnataka, where we are going to tier 2, tier 3 towns and adopting the fine art colleges who have got phenomenal traditional background, but they're not exposed to technology, and we're converting them into digital art centers, in turn making very good traditional artists into digital artists, number one. Number two, we have set up the Center of Excellence almost 8 years back, and we have our own set of courses which are patented, and we have tied up with almost all the universities across the state and are going out of the state also, where we integrate our curriculum into their last year of the BSc or the BVA or whichever degree they are offering onto animation and multimedia, where they have to come down to our campus for about a month's time and go through courses on photogrammetry and motion capture and other things. And most importantly, I think we are talking about skilling people for the industries and the studios, but we are trying to create a framework for the state where we are trying to build more entrepreneurs. So we have built a Karnataka IP framework, which is a start-to-end funnel, which is a pipeline which encourages students to not only look for jobs, but students to become entrepreneurs, supporting them at every stage up till distribution and marketing. So in turn, trying to create more IPs, which the country very desperately needs now. Instead of being a services hub, it has to be an IP hub very soon, because I think we have committed about 100 plus IPs in the next 3 years only from Karnataka. So I think It's a big job, and I think even we have to look at skilling people for IP development. So
that's very impressive.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Kartiki.
So I just want to highlight this, that the couple of launchpads that we had in the past at Framestore, there were huge number of applications and many of them were actually from the institutes from tier 2 cities. So I just want to thank Srinivas for all his initiatives that is, encouraging people from tier 2 cities also to apply for studios like Framestore, and many of them are currently also working with us, contributing to the high-end projects.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else wants to add anything to it? Wonderful. Okay. So
Please ask some questions.
questions from the audience.
Few days
Anybody
back, I was conducting a guest lecture in Guwahati and Mapsa. So some students asked me that shall we learn basic fundamentals such as drawings or observations, then compare to AI technology. And in Konkan, there is a very less exposure on animations and AVGC sector. So how we can bring those colleges and schools along with the principals into the mainstream of animations and VFX. And Sathish Narayanan sir, I would like to have an answer from you. As well, I played my first video game in your area, where IICT is being created in your Reva apartment at the home of founder of Mumbai, Nana Shankar Shet.
Great, great. So good to hear. And to answer your question, so thanks to all these veterans like Rajesh ji is here, Mr. Ashish Kulkarni, Biren, so who's of the industry people, myself, we've been going to ministry for almost 2 decades to push this has to be the mainstream curriculum at a school level, and that has come true. Now from this July onwards, you're going to see creative arts has been introduced as a separate subject from 6th, 7th, 8th. So there is like, it has been aligned with the NEP, and so the foundation basics has been taught at 6th, 7th and 8th, and then 9th and 10th, it's going to be foundation, and then 11th and 12th, it's going to be fundamentals for the further animation visual effects. So there is a complete structure which we are working on, and we've been working closely with higher education, and INB ministry is putting us into all these NCVT, NCRT.
Will it be applicable to the subjects such as drawings and computers in your school?
Yes,
or in the labs?
so there is like science stream and max stream. So people used to go into medical, and there is going to engineering. So there is going to be a third stream called creative art. So they will choose that as a subject so that they get into this animation visual effects. Because
would be there any choice of educations though the actors and politicians and artists get? So the students can get till to the subject, to the standard up to the 10th?
No, up to 12th. So after 10th, 11th and 12th, they can choose this as one separate subject. Like how they are taking commerce and science, there is going to be a third subject called creative art, where that will lay a foundation. All this, we are talking about the fundamentals and foundation, will be taught at a school level, drawing all these things. Then it's easier for us to teach them the tools, techniques and all that.
I have given the task to the MAPSA school, a government school, for the computer teachers and drawing teachers.
Great,
to
we'll
teach
offline
them,
we'll talk about it, because we have a lot
on
of
animation.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
So I'll give a quick
Okay,
answer.
okay, Sumant.
Yeah. See, one of the things that happens is because of all the technology that gets so much hype nowadays, that the concept is that, okay, do we need to learn software? Do we need to learn animation, which is AVGC? I think the basic learning is absolutely fundamental. Almost everybody in our country has a mobile phone now. You can put up a mobile phone and draw things frame by frame and learn animation. You can move things frame by frame and learn animation. This is still the basic learning. Okay, even today with all the new technology, there are companies like Leica who are making fantastic stop motion animation.
Sumant, we are
films.
out of time.
Yeah.
So sorry.
I'm done.
You're done. Okay. Any more questions? You can always meet us after the session. We'll hang out here for a moment. So just to summarize, with AI, I think it's not something to be afraid of. It is something to take in charge and become better artists and better creatives. We have understood that the foundational knowledge is not going anywhere. So keep working on it, keep honing. Our institutes are all ready and still thinking ahead of time and well prepared to empower the next talent that's going to be the AI creators. So thank you very much for VAM and for all the panelists and the audience to be so engaging and enlightening. Thank you very much.